I'm Doug Killick.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I used to work for the council and now do voluntary work at the Essex Regiment Museum, documenting the lives of the old soldiers. During our investigations, we noticed that one of the locals in Chelmsford, who used to live in Duke Street, it's a man called Clifford Brazier. He volunteered to join the army in August 1916. He was trained and attached to the 1st Battalion, the Norfolk Regiment. After his training as a Lewis gunner, he was sent to France and then Belgium. And on the 7th of October 1917, he met his death. To commemorate his death, a group of men who dine at the Verde restaurant remember him, and we've arranged for the British Legion to plant a cross and a poppy.
What is the connection between the Italian restaurant and Clifford Brazier?
Clifford used to work in there when it was a greengrocer's shop in the First World War. It was owned by his father, Thomas Brazier.
We're talking here about a complete coincidence in that you met at the Verde Italian restaurant, which was once the Brazier's greengrocer.
That is correct.
But when did you suddenly realise that after dining there for a while? How did it happen?
It was 2 or 3 months ago, and we were discussing some of the soldiers of the First World War, and Andy Begent said, yes, this is one lived here, which triggered it all off. And each month we always drink a toast in his memory.
How old was he when he went to war?
He was 19 years of age.
How many brothers and sisters did he have?
There were 10 altogether in the family, 10 siblings. A lot of them died early. Most of the little boys died in their 1st or 2nd year.
How many survived him?
About 6, I think.
And have you tried to trace through their line a relative?
We were lucky, and the Royal British Legion gave us the ancestors, and it's a very long and complicated document. There were some in Chelmsford which we lost track of in the early 2000s, but now we've located 2 in the Coggeshall area, but it's only just come to life and we haven't tracked them down yet. He was killed in the Battle of Ypres in 1917.
In the year 2017, it will be exactly 100 years?
Absolutely, yeah.
100 years. Will you be doing something special for that, perhaps?
God willing, yes.
Was Clifford, Private Clifford Brazier, entitled to any medals?
Yes, 2 medals, the British Victory Medal and the 1914 Star.
And would they have been passed on to his next of kin?
Yes, at the end of the war, his medals were passed on to his sister Hilda, who's since died, I'm afraid. We've got 2 framed photographs which we are presenting to the owner of the Verde restaurant tonight as souvenirs, but we have other copies which, if we can locate the next of kin, they will be passed on to them.
What do the photographs illustrate?
One is of the cross and the poppy that the British Legion are going to plant on our behalf in the the Garden of Remembrance at the Palace of Westminster. And the other one, we have obtained a copy of his burial certificate, which was written in 1920 when he was exhumed and reburied in a big military cemetery. So we've got a copy of that signed by the officer of the day.
What caused his death?
We don't know. From the war diary written on that day, it just said we suffered 5 casualties. It didn't name how they were killed.
Was it a major offensive, or were they just in their trenches?
He was serving in the main Battle of Ypres, the third Battle of Ypres. They were, the day before he was killed, they were transferred to a place called Inverness Copse for a rest day, and it was in that rest day copse he was killed. The officer of the day wrote, it would have been far better to keep us in the main line.
His remains were buried temporarily somewhere?
They were buried in a very small cemetery. It was called the Menin Road pillbox cemetery. Very small, only 20 graves. In 1919 he was exhumed and reburied in the Hoog Crater Cemetery, which was a very big one, holding 5,900 Commonwealth soldiers.
Presumably through the Commonwealth graves there is a photograph of his gravestone.
Unfortunately, we haven't been able to locate it, no.
You have tried?
We have tried.
What's the problem? Is he just on a plaque on a wall with thousands of other names?
No, he's got a named gravestone maintained by the Imperial War Graves Commission.
Right.
We have arranged for a regular visitor there to find his grave and photograph it for us.
You have the names of distant relatives of Clifford Brazier that you would love to trace. Now, tell me where they live.
They both live in Colchester.
And without going into too much detail, what are their surnames?
One is called Dad, D-A-D-D, and the other one is Cole, C-O-L-E.
What would you like the Dads and the Coles to do if they believe and know that they're relatives?
If they would like to contact me by email, my email address is doug.killick@blueyonder.co.uk. I will be only too pleased to help them and send any artefacts we have to them. These are framed photographs that we're going to present to the owner of the Verde. One is the White Cross and the poppy that the British Legion are going to plant for us at the Garden of Remembrance in the Palace of Westminster. The other one is a copy of his burial certificate, which was signed by the officer when he was reinterred in the Hoog Crater Cemetery in 1920. They're both photographic copies of them.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege to be here on this rather special, if solemn, occasion, and that's to commemorate Private Clifford Brazier of the 1st Battalion, the Royal Norfolk Regiment, who was killed in action on the 7th of October 1917 on the Western Front. And I thought it most appropriate that we actually read in full Robert Binion's famous poem, but only really known for one particular stanza. With proud thanksgiving, a mother for her children, England mourns for her dead across the sea. Flesh of her flesh they were, spirit of her spirit, fallen in the cause of the free. Solemn the drums thrill, death august and royal sings sorrow up into immortal spheres. There is music in the midst of desolation, and a glory that shines upon our tears. They went with songs to the battle, they were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. They mingle not with their laughing comrades again. They sit no more at familiar tables of home. They have no lot in our labour of the daytime. They sleep beyond England's foam. But where our desires are and our hopes profound, felt as a wellspring that is hidden from sight, to the innermost heart of their own land they are known, as the stars are known to the night. As the stars that shall be bright when we are dust, moving in marches upon the heavenly plain. At the stars they are starry in the time of our darkness, to the end they remain. Gentlemen, I give you Private Clifford Brazier.
Clifford Brazier.
It gives me great pleasure to hand to you, for you to honour hopefully and display these souvenirs.
I have a privilege to have these. This man was a great man who gave life for all of us, for this country and for all humanity. When we see all these refugees, we know how many devils like Hitler live in our planet. And these men and millions of these people saved all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.